Isang magandang buhay para sa ating lahat. Now, we are going to discuss for the structural analysis. A system of interconnected members used to support external loads. Structural analysis is the prediction of the response of structures to specified arbitrary external loads during the preliminary structural design stage. So, is the structure's potential external loads is estimated. And the size of the structure's interconnected members are determined based on the estimated loads. Structural analysis establishes the relationship between a structural member's expected external loads and the structure's corresponding developed internal stresses and displacements that occur within the member when in service. This is necessary to ensure that the structural members satisfy the safety and the serviceability requirements of the local building code and specifications of the area where the structure is located. For these simple trusses, a structure composed of slender members joined together and their endpoints. The member commonly used construction consists of wooden struts or metal bars. In particular, planar trusses lie in a single plane and are often used to support roofs and bridges. Yan ang ginagamit nila. Ayan. We have here purlins. Ayan. So, the roof trusses. Ayan yung mga loads niya. For the purlins or the truss shown in an example is typical roof supporting truss. In this figure, the roof load is transmitted to the truss at the joints by means of a series of purlins. Since this loading acts in the same plane as the truss, the analysis of the forces developed in the truss members will be two-dimensional. Ayan, we have here, in this case, a bridge such as shown in figure. The load of the deck is transmitted to stringers. Then to floor beams are finally to the joints of the two supporting side trusses. Like the roof truss, the bridge truss loading is also coplanar. So for the assumptions of design, so to design both the members and connections of the truss, it's necessary first to determine the force developed in each member where the truss is subjected to a given loading. So to do this, we will make two important assumptions. First, we have all loadings are applied at the joints. So we have to check that. And then the members are joined together by smooth pins. So we have here the joint connections are usually formed by bolting or welding. Yan ang ginagamit kuminsan. So the ends of the members to a common plate, that what we call gasset plate, or by simply passing a large bolt or pin through each of the members. We can assume these conditions as pins provided the center lines of the joining members are concurrent as shown in the figure. So we have here tension and compression. So always remember, pagka-tension, papalabas, compression, papasok. Because of these two assumptions, each truss member will act as force members, and therefore the force acting on each end of the truss will be directed along the axis of the members. So if the force tends to elongate the member, it is a tensile force. Whereas if it tends to shorten the member, it is a compressive force. In the actual design of a truss, it is important to state whether this nature of the force is tensile or compressive. Often, compression members must be made thicker than tension member because of the buckling of column effect that occurs when a member is in compression. For the definition of truss, a truss consists of straight members connected at joints. So no member is continuous through a joint. So we have here A, B, C, D. Yan yung mga joints niya, di ba? So most structures are made of several trusses joined together to form a space framework. Each truss carries those loads which act in its plane and may be treated as a two-dimensional structure. So bolted and or welded connection are to be pinned together, forces acting at the members and reduced to a single force and no couple. So only two force members are considered. So when forces tends to pull the member apart, it is in tension. When the compression tends to compress the member, it is compression. So yan ang tatandaan nyo. To pull and then to compress. Members of a truss are slender and not capable of supporting large lateral loads. Loads must be applied at the joints. So these are the other types of trusses. We have Pratt, Hoe, Fink, yan, example pa rin yan. So Warren. So we have Baltimore, truss. So yan yung mga typical na ginagamit sa bridge truss. Stadium, cantilever portion of a truss, and bascule. So a rigid truss will not collapse, so we have to look for the application of a load. So the simple truss is constructed by successively adding two members and one connection to basic triangular truss. Pag you're looking for the M is the total of members, ayan. And yung N naman, your joints, ayan, yung mga joints yung mga build nyo yan. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, yan ang mga joints natin. So if a truss is in equilibrium, then each of the joints must also be in equilibrium. Hence, the methods of joints consist of satisfying the equilibrium conditions for the forces exerted on the pin at each joint of the truss. Since the truss members are all straight two force members lying in the same plane, the force system acting at each pin is coplanar and concurrent. So, try natin. Meron tayong example here. So, we have to determine the force in each members. So, whether we have to indicate kung whether it's a tension or compression. So, we have here. So, nakita natin dito, we have hinge and roller. So, makita natin dyan, meron tayong dyang reaction, AY and AX. I use A because of the point joint A. And here, I use CY, the point joint C. So, we have the summation of forces of X. Natin is AX is going to the negative x-axis. The other one is going to the positive x direction. So we have negative AX plus 500 is equal to 500. Is equal to 0. Pag chinek natin yan, i-transpose kabila, AX will become positive and then 500 yung value ng AX natin. Okay, if you use the summation of forces of AY, of Y, I mean, dalawa kasi ano natin. We have CY and AY. So, medyo mahihirapan tayo. So, ang una natin gamitin ay moment. Saan tayo magmo-moment? Siyempre, sa maraming members para at least 0 na agad siya, di ba? Para masolve natin yung CY muna. So, mag-moment tayo at A equal to 0. So, 500, moment arm niya is 2. Kasi clockwise ito ay clockwise din. Ayan. While CY is counterclockwise, so minus yun. Multiply moment arm of 2. So we have here, CY is 500. Ayan. So pwede natin solve yung summation of forces ng Y. So summation of forces ng Y is equal to 0. So negative AY is negative because it points to the downward direction. Ayan. Next, plus CY is equal to 0, where value of CY is 500. So, automatic AY is positive 500. So, first joint that we're going to solve is joint B. Check natin. So, we have here, isa, dalawa, tatlo. Yun. So, we have here, 500. Yun yun. So, we can solve for the joint BC and then BA. Okay, guys. Dito, pwede ka mag-assume kung anong gusto mo. It's either compression or tension. Okay lang. Pag nag-negative yung sagot mo, makikita mo naman yan eh. Okay. So, we have here, so I assume that FBA is tension and then FBC is compression. Okay. So, we have 45 degrees doon, ha? Kasi yan, ha? Okay, ngayon. So, pag chinek natin yan, summation of forces ng X equals to 0, 500, yan, minus FBC, kasi nga, pag andito na siya, papunta siya dito, yan. Nasa negative x-axis na siya, di ba? Kasi baka isipin mo, nasa positive x-axis siya. Hindi, ito yan siya, di ba? Okay, ito yung 45 na yan, di ba? Pag nandito na siya sa taas. Yan. Kaya kailangan dito yung Sokatowa. Di ba? Towa. Yan. Okay. So, we have here sine 45 degrees. Kaya rin sine 45 because of the sine Sokatowa. Diba? Is equal to 0. Yan ang pansinin mo. Kasi pa ito yan. Ito yung 45. Teka, wait. I use another color para medyo magkaintindihan tayo. Ayan. Gamitin natin to. Ayan, ito. So, we have here, ito yung Y, ito yung X, ito yung F, BC. This is 45. Yan. Degrees. So, katoa. Yan, yan. So, FBC is 707.1 Newton. Next, summation of forces ng Y is equal to 0. So, FBC minus cosine theta 45. Yan ha. Positive yan kasi upward yan ha. Minus FBA is equal to 0. So, FBA is 500. Ayan. Okay. Next, we go to joint A. Sa joint A, ayan. Dito yan palabas yan. Dito yan sa labas. Yan, 500. Yan. So, we have the summation forces of X equals to 0. So, FAC is 500. AC minus 500 equals to 0. So, we have here AC. Yung AC natin ay nag-positive siya. So, definitely this is tension. Diba? So, summation of Fy positive din kasi going upward minus 500. So, we have equals 0. So, tension din siya. So, they are both tension. Okay, next. So, joint C. So, we have here 3. Ayan. Pababa naman to. Ayan. Kasi nga kanina, ayan. Diba? So, nakita natin yung kanina. BC. Ayan. So, we have here negative 500 plus 707 is equal to Fx equals 0. So, dito dyan ay 0, 0. Di ba? So, ating tama yung ating value. Okay, next. Another problem. So we have here, you have to compute for the members, tension of the each members of the truss, and then we have to indicate for if it's tension or compression. So ito yung AY natin. Ayan. This is a roller. So upward. So we have that is will be CX and CY. So we have summation of forces ng X. Pwede X muna kasi nga, ayun, makukuha natin value ng X na yun, no? Dalawa lang naman. So, makukuha natin kagad na 600 ang ating X. Kasi negative yung CX natin, positive yung 600. Sa Y naman, malabo kasi nga, dalawa yung ano natin. Ayun, no? Kaya magmo-moment muna tayo. Ang pinakamagandang mag-moment sa C. Diba? Kasi maraming forces doon. Okay. So, we have AY. We have moment arm of 6. Ito, 3 plus 3. Yan, di ba? And then, minus 400. Moment arm niya is 3. Negative 600. Moment arm niya is 4. You know, this is a counterclockwise or clockwise. Clockwise kasi yung ating ang assumption. Pag ito is clockwise, this is counter, and another counter. Diba? Okay, so we have here AY is 600. So makukuha na natin yung value ng CY. So summation of forces that is, ayan. So CY is 200. Diba? Dali lang. Okay, ngayon, joint A tayo. Okay, sa joint A, we have 3. 1, 2, and 3. So, tatlo yung ating members. So, we have here, FBAB. So, we have to get for the X and Y. Ayan. Kasi nga, ala naman given, ito yung ating 4. Ayan. 4 to. Ito ay 3. Sorry for being paling. Ayan. This will be 5. Diba? Yan ang galing yan, ha? Using the Pythagorean theorem, so solve mo yan. Ayan. Okay. Next. So, FAD is tension. AY, ayan. Compression. So, summation of forces ng Y, pwede naman. Summation of force ng X, pwede rin. Okay. So, Fx kasi, pwede rin. Kaya ang problema, dalawa yung ano natin. Ayan, no? Kaya, Y muna tayo. So, 600 minus FAB, 4 over 5, is equal to 0. So, solving for the value of FAB, we can get the 750. So, nakuha na natin value ng 750, which is compression. Ayan. Ngayon, ang gawin natin is tension. Ay, no pala. Solve for the summation forces ng X. So, we have FAD minus FAB. Kasi yan, papunta yan. Actually, di ba papunta dito yan? Kaya nasa negative x-axis na siya. So, multiply 3 over 5 is equal to 0. So, FAD is equal to 450. So, this will be the value. So, this is a tension. Ayan. Hindi natin. Ayan. Tension yan. Okay, next. Determine the force at joint D. Joint D tayo. The joint D, isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat. So, check natin. Isa, this is 600. FDA, which is 450. Na nakuha natin kanina. Yan yun, no? Yan, no? 450. Yun yun, ha? Tension yun. So, obligadong labas. Okay. FDB, yan. Kunin natin value. So, we have 5. So, you have here, ayan. 400, FCD. Ito yun. Compression din. So, we have summation forces ng X. Makukuha na natin. Even this one. So, masosolve natin FDB. Kaya D ang ginamit ko sa because of we're referring for the joint D. Okay, sa rin. FDB over 3 over 5 minus 450 is equal to 0. So here FDB is equal to 0 and then 250 ang makuha natin value. Yan. So tension, ayan. Next, summation of forces ng y is equal to 0. Ayan. Summation of forces ng y is equal to 0. So we have here FCD is minus going down and then upward yung FDD natin. And then 4 over 5 is equal to 0. Substitute the value ng FDB. Makukuha natin FCD is 200. Ayan. Next, F point C. Ayan. Joint C pala I mean. So, joint C. Ayan. Ayan natin sa ating CX. Ayan. So, this is another tangent compression and compression. Okay. Okay. Pero makita mo kagad ito. This is magne-negative na itong dalawa. So, summation of forces of x is equal to 0. So, 600. So, 600 yung FC at B natin. And then yung Fy, alam mo na kagad na magsi-0. Di ba? Okay. Ayan. For the method of sections, ayan. Ayan. Ating. So, yung method of section, I'll be discussing it for another topic. Okay, maraming salamat. So, try nyo solve nito. At least check natin kung ano makukuha nyo. Okay, salamat ng marami. Ciao!